So yeah. So what are my final thoughts on this game, Vampire V-Rising, right? So I just finished this game today, and I finished all the bosses, maxed out gear, everything is done. My castle is also built pretty well. I have 3 floors now, and it's looking pretty good. I really like my castle, and I really enjoyed this game. So that's the TLDR basically. But apart from that, this game has some really interesting techniques and features, which most other games do not, I guess. Um, so when I started this game, I started the game on like brutal difficulty, which is fine. Brutal difficulty is fine, but the thing I realized that was I was playing this solo, so there are some steep difficulty curves, I should say, against from certain bosses to certain bosses. The first difficulty curve is basically from this to this guy, Quincy the Bandit King. That was tough. And the second difficulty curve was against this guy, the Tristan the Vampire Hunter. It was just bad. It was just terrible. I started struggling. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One of the reasons is that the game assumes, so here I think is some, you unlock some stuff like so the game assumes you have the specific gear that you want to tackle this guy. Like this is where you unlock iron, and before this the game assumes you have unlocked all the blueprints from the research desk. Research desk gives you a lot of like weapons, armor set, etc. So it assumes you have all of that and you are quite equipped, but usually we are not. We usually keep doing one boss after the other, and we don't have all of that equipped. So that's a steep curve, difficulty curve, and that's where I started struggling. But if you farm bunch of stuff, side content, and then you do it, it's probably fine. But still, it is tough, but it is probably fine. The same thing happens over here with Tristan the Vampire Slayer. Apart from his some spin to win attack that he has, apart from that, which is just I hate that attack, the spin to win attack that he does. But apart from that, everything else is fine. But there is a steep curve. So that's where I realized like the game is really balanced around multiplayer or group play, and I was playing solo, so I was just not having fun. I just had to constantly like farm stuff all around, then try to level up my character, probably sometimes over level my character to meet these boss requirements, and then try to tackle them down. So I was just not having fun. And also when you die, you have to go all the way back, collect the loot, and do all of that stuff all over again. So I was just not having fun. So I just trickled down the difficulty to standard, and I just started playing as it is. And then I started having so much more fun. Because the thing is, when you're playing multiplayer or group play, there are multiple people who are like farming stuff along with you, and also the people can revive you and stuff during boss fights. But in solo play, it's just a pain. Unless that's the thing that you're going for, it's like a challenge for you, then it's fine. But I could not do it, so I just trickled it down to standard, and it's totally fine. What at the end of the day, what matters is that you have fun. So I started having a lot of fun, and then I started doing multiple bosses in single day, and then went all the way over here. There were a couple of bosses which, yes, were a lot more harder, even though sometimes I was over leveled. Even then, there were like a couple of bosses which were tough. The most significant one is this guy. I probably attempted 28 times against this guy. But yeah. So that's the only thing. That's one thing which I want to say is that if you guys are feeling, if you guys are not having fun with a specific difficulty, like brutal difficulty, just trickle it down to standard. It's fine. It's not like we need to prove it to anyone else, right? The only thing that matters when we play this game is we have fun. So I started having really fun. And the other thing is the building in this game is awesome. The amount of time I just spent customizing my castle, like removing some stuff and adding some stuff and just making it look good, is really nice. And also your buildings have 2 bonuses. Basically, one bonus is basically you need to have in a confined room, and then you have to have a matching floor type. Each of the building has its own floor type. If you have it, you get specific bonus. So this gives you time bonus to craft. This gives you material bonus. So basically you take less materials to craft the same stuff, which is really nice. So that gives you some sort of, I guess, planning in your castle building. You have to put all buildings of similar type in a similar room. For example, all of these are like tailor buildings. All of these are like alchemy buildings, right? Then I have the jewel crafting stuff over here. The fourth stuff is in third floor. So stuff like that. So I have all the bonuses set up. And this sort of planning was really awesome. It's the same for like these smelters, the logging stuff, and the grinders, etc. What is this called? Sawmill. All the sawmills, etc. So that was really nice. And then one thing which I really liked is the storage in this game. There is a specific storage for each type, so all you need to do is go to that storage and press this quicksand. So if you can store it in the specific storage, it just goes in there. So all I have to do is craft this, then go over here, then press the quicksand button multiple times, right? And it goes to its specific storage, and you're good to go. You can just head out again. Come back over here, quicksand, like do all the storage and just go back out. That's really nice. But there are a couple of things in storage that I wish the game had, which is like building using materials which are stored in the storage. Like for example, whenever I was building my castle, I used to constantly come back to my storage, pick up stuff, or go to grinders, go to sawmills, pick up stuff, and then sort of build my castle, which was a little bit annoying, but it's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah. But overall, building is awesome. Castle building is awesome. And bosses are awesome. Everything is good. Then another important point to note is that this game is not like hack and slash. It's more strategic. It's like sort of like Dark Souls in some manner. Like you have to plan as to when to attack and when to dodge against bosses, because you don't have like stamina, but you do have cooldowns. So each of these has its own cooldown. Let me go back to human form. Over here, dodge, right? It has 8-second cooldown, 0.3 second cast time. And once you do this, you can't cast again for 6 seconds. And that's the only means of dodging. There are no other means of dodging at all, apart from like moving side to side. So there are some boss attacks which you have to dodge. So you have to plan your dodge around that. If you dodge prematurely, you die. Especially in brutal difficulty, you die. So there is some strategic sense going in that, and that was pretty predominant when I fought this guy. There were some attacks which I had to dodge, so I was saving this as much as possible for that specific attack. If this attack was not there, I have this attack which has a movement inbuilt to it. So like this, I was using this to dodge, not to do damage. If I miss this attack, it's fine, but I was mainly trying to dodge with this attack. So I had 2 dodges in that sense, but not every weapon has that. So only some weapons has that. Mace has that, for example. Like this is a movement ability, but it's a lot slower, but it's something. So some weapons have it, some weapons don't. So yeah, so combat is a lot more strategic. It's not hack and slash, especially not in brutal difficulty. So, which is really cool. That's one thing which we should not assume if you guys ever plan to buy the game or play the game. That's one thing which you need to keep in mind. It's not hack and slash, it's strategic planning. Dark Souls like combat, I will say, but in a isometric manner, right? It's an isometric game. So yeah, and what else? Music is pretty mild, I will say. It's not like, of course, I always have music very down. I don't really listen to music when I play games like this, but I will say it is pretty mild. Nothing too great, but nothing to scoff about either. So yeah, pretty good. And there are lots of mechanics in this game. If you want to deal with that, you can. If you don't want to do that, it's fine. You can totally leave it. For example, there are like tombs where you can like spawn a bunch of stuff which gives you specific items, etc. This is one way of farming some stuff. There are like crypts from which you can farm some stuff, or you can put some just plant garden, you'll get the same stuff. Sometimes you'll get the same stuff, sometimes you don't. Or you can just go out in open world and just farm stuff. That is also fine. Like the verminous, this is one way of farming stuff. Each of these have different things that it gives, right? And everything is good. And also this prison is one way of getting like really good blood quality. If you have good blood quality prisoners, you can constantly get that stuff. Of course, you'll have to start fishing then. I have the bunch of fishes that I have stored, so that every time you get extract blood from them, their misery goes up and the damage they take goes up. So you can basically kill them. Then you lose your prisoner. So you have to pacify them, basically giving those fishes, feed them fishes. So yeah, pretty in-depth mechanics, I'll say, with most of the things that you can do, especially in crafting. Some of the late game stuff that you craft, like the tier, Onyx tier example, like there's so much stuff that you need to farm from the basic material. Like it goes one after the other, and there is no automation in this game. So you have to constantly farm stuff to get that. But yeah, apart from that, map is also, I really like the map actually in this game. So if we start the game in this area, which is pretty decent, right? And then you go to this area, there is not too much change, but there is significant change. You'll start seeing a lot more human settlements and etc. It's only undead, bandits, etc. Then you start going into human settlements and all of that. Like you'll slowly shift from undead to humans. Like this is the undead mine, right? And then you'll slowly shift to human settlements all over here. And then slowly going over here, you'll start seeing vampires, and then you start seeing werewolves, etc. When you go here, this is entirely vampire region. There is no sunlight, which is awesome, which is a completely separate zone. Then you go here. This is like a cursed forest, which is like completely clouded in fog. Unless you have a specific item, you can't see anything. So pretty nice. And then you go here, which is basically like scientific land. Or like you have advanced science stuff. There is lightning constantly hitting everywhere. Even here, there's like two different places. At least here, there are some machines which absorb lightning, but over here, just lightning is raining down at everywhere. Like you can't stand still at all. You can't stand still and like look at your map. You get hit by lightning. It happened multiple times to me. So stuff like that. Pretty unique. And then there is this area, which is completely human settlement. Like there's the largest human settlement over here. Lots of enemies, lots of high level enemies, paladins, like scholars, priests, etc. All of that stuff. This is the highest level zone, I guess, this one. And then there's also this zone, which is like snow biome, basically, and mountains and stuff. So pretty varied map, but still very much interconnected to how the game works. And I really liked it. I'll say it's one of the better map designs that I have seen, and very unique map designs. Like there's always like different stuff in each area that you constantly engages you. Yeah, I feel like a lot of effort has gone into this map creation actually, like the world creation, right? Yeah, it's basically world creation, which is converted to map. But yeah, so I really like this world. So yeah, and then finally, the late game stuff. There are lots of late game stuff that you can do if you want to. One is, of course, if you played standard difficulty, you can play again in brutal. Do that. If not, if you just want to farm some stuff, there is still like rifts and all you can do. But if you have defeated Dracula, that means you have the stuff from here. I don't see how without farming these you could have defeated Dracula, because you need the greater Stygian stones for passives, right? So you would have farmed most of the stuff, I think. So there is that to farm. Apart from that, at the end game, you will have the highest gear score, and finally you will have the full set, Dracula set. Then you can again go ahead and do all the bosses once more, which I plan to do actually offline. Just go through all, like it is so fun to basically one-shot a boss. Like a boss, Alpha the Whitefull, go ahead, one-shot. Like just do that. I'll be doing that offline. So that's one thing which we can do. The next thing is you can play this game multiplayer. So there are like multiplayer servers, public servers. So we can go there. There are PvE servers, PvP servers. It's a completely different game over there. There is like, if you play PvP, you can like, so each of these areas basically has castles. So there are multiple castles. You can join clans. You can lay siege to these castles, etc. And there's like group play against bosses. And especially in PvP, these soul shards play an important role. These things, because one person, there is only one per map, each type of soul shards. So basically, people fight over this. So there is a lot of different stuff. Even in PvE, you can like do group play against bosses and stuff. So it's a completely different game. So there is a lot of stuff to do. So it's a very good game. I recommend anyone to buy it. If you have a couple of bucks, this is an indie game. It's not done by a major studio or anything, but still a very solid game, I will say. Worth every penny. So yeah, a pretty good game. That's all I have to say. I have enjoyed a lot. I'll be playing this offline a couple more times. But for the stream, this will be probably my last stream of V Rising. Tomorrow I'll probably play a different game. I am playing Foundry quite a bit offline and a couple of other games offline. I don't know what I'll be playing on stream, but let's see. I'll figure that out. But yeah, this is my brief overview or summary of the game. Really enjoyed it. Solid game. So with that, I'll be ending my stream now. So thank you everyone. See you guys tomorrow.